Hello, everybody, and welcome to What the Hell Should I Watch? I'm Steve Stebbing.
I'm Chloe Stebbing.
And we are your weekly series. We are the rundown of everything we're watching that hopefully will become something that you're watching this weekend and the coming week. We come at you every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And last week I was teasing the very polarizing at the time before release, and now after release, very polarizing Civil War. Chloe, what's it about?
A journey across a dystopian future America following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach DC before rebel factions descend upon the White House. Starring Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spaney, and Stephen McKinley Henderson. Written and directed by Alex Garland.
And the undefeated streak when it comes to Alex Garland continues with this. Like, I really, really loved this movie. It is apolitical. Like, it doesn't take sides whatsoever. It is more about being an embedded journalist, a embedded war photographer, a war journalist, and trying to desperately to get to that story, because basically they're trying to make their way from New York to Washington just as the Western forces are going to descend on the White House to presumably take out the president. And this is about the desensitization, the trauma, the heaped trauma that comes from that, because Kirsten Dunst is kind of playing reluctant mentor to Kaylee Spaney's character, who's a young war journalist, war photographer who idolizes Kirsten Dunst's character. And I don't know, it's really solid. The sound design is incredible. And I don't know, Garland writes great films. I think before this film, the most polarizing one would be his previous film, Men, which is, that movie is crazy metaphor upon like insane visual sequences. I don't know. You saw Men, right?
Yeah, I did.
And what did you think of that one?
I was mostly confused. But I got it over time, like the overarching theme. And it was one of those films that was like, huh, you know, it was, it was, I, I don't even know how to process
the rebirthing scene.
Yeah, like, and then all the men actually being like the same guy or having the same face, like
Yeah.
the little boy with the like a whole dude's face.
Yeah. He takes chances, and he always
Yeah.
has. I mean, if we're looking at the beginning of his career, he wrote The Beach with Danny Boyle, wrote 28 Days Later with Danny Boyle. I mean, Sunshine, I believe, was written by him as well. It is rumored, I don't know if it's been actually fully, like, this rumor has been put to bed as true or false. I think it's true that he took over in post-production from Pete Travis with Dread. That Dread would have been kind of his directorial debut, although he doesn't get credit for it. He did write the film. And then he debuted with Ex Machina, which is just an incredible film. Thoroughly incredible film with just
Sci-fi, then.
Yeah.
Like, that's his thing, then.
Yeah, and so unpredictable. Annihilation, which is an adaptation of a book that a lot of people said was unfilmable, and
I felt weird about that movie.
I love that movie. It's like one of my favorite sci-fi horrors ever. And it's simple things, you know what I mean? Sound design is a big thing, and sound design is what gets me in Civil War. But I mean, especially the bear alone. Having this scream on its breath, the scream of the girl that it just killed.
I absolutely loved everything about it until it got to the weird, like, the message of the film. And it was like, oh. Okay.
You felt let down by the message. He did do a series called Devs, which I haven't fully gone through, but Nick Offerman is in that, who appears in Civil War as well. Um, and I will say the supporting cast, including Nick Offerman, a really chilling scene with Jesse Plemons, which was a basically week of shooting get. Luckily, his wife is the star of the film, so they were able to get Jesse Plemons in the film very quickly. But just absolutely chilling scene with him. Um, and the movie will definitely like sit and resonate with you for a bit, and not because of anything political. Like I said, it doesn't take any sides, but the fact that no matter what side you are on, this movie is like during these times, these conflict times, there are going to be ways in which you react that can come across as pretty inhuman. And there's some very good indications that America and Middle America, left to their own devices during this conflict, could get really, really, really ugly. And I think we already know that, especially what we've seen over the last 6-8 years. It's crazy. So and it's another beautifully shot film by cinematographer Rob Hardy, who's done he did Annihilation, he did Ex Machina. Like, he's got just an incredible resume under his belt, and he just delivers another knockout with this film. The tension in this movie is just out of control. And the film's American release date is April 12th, 2024, and the real American Civil War began exactly 163 years before that, on April 12th. So I thought that was fascinating. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I really, really, really dig this film, and I think people should experience it in theaters. And it's A24's biggest opening at the box office to date now. So, as a guy that loves everything A24, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a win. A24 and Neon are my favorite releasing companies right now. And 2024 is about to become the year of Neon, with Long Legs coming out and a bunch of other stuff. We'll get to those ones when they come out. But I know as genre films, Chloe and I will be all over those films. All right, so let's move on to Blu-ray that I finally got to check out, Waitress the Musical.
The hit Broadway musical about a small town pie baker with big dreams gets the silver screen treatment.
Yes. So Waitress was a movie from 2007 with Kerry Russell and Nathan Fillion.
Hmm.
You might have seen that DVD on my shelf years ago. Um,
Possibly.
but I mean, I initially, when I rented, I was working at Rogers Video, and I got it purely on Nathan Fillion being in it, because it's Nathan Fillion, right? It's kind of like nerd cred that you watch everything he does. But I really liked it. I thought it was really, really charming. Kerry Russell was the lead in it. Cheryl Hines was in it. And one of the waitress was a plucky young lady played by Adrian Shelley, who was also the writer and director of the film, and became this indie hit. But it became an indie hit after her death, because she was actually murdered in her New York apartment in the end of 2006, November 2006, by a construction worker, um, who broke into her apartment and tried to rob her while she was in there. So he strangled her and hung her up, staging it as a suicide. And yeah, so this is a really weird way to start a review, but they did a musical version of this really charming movie that she wrote that was supposed to be her ticket to success. And the musical, you know this about me, I'm not a big musical guy at all. It's just people breaking into song kind of rubs me the wrong way. But the way that they presented this film is they just literally filmed, like dynamically filmed, but they filmed the Broadway production of it. So it's really kind of fascinating to see all the actors, because a lot of the actors are also like dressing the set, like bringing certain things with them as they change scenes and stuff, which I find really fascinating. The choreography of it is like kind of mind blowing, especially when you realize that these guys are doing 6 to 7 performances a week. I think they get a couple days off, and then they do like 2 performances each day on the weekend. So it's an intense thing because the show's like 2.5 hours long. Um,
God.
but I had Jen, my wife, there as as kind of my buffer to see if this is good or not, because she's a huge fan of like Hamilton, which is on Disney Plus. She watches it a bunch. She really likes it.
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton.
During it, she was like, we should just watch Hamilton. But as the film like progressed, she started enjoying it more and more, to the point where at the end I asked her and she was like, actually that was really 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 good. So I'm like, oh okay, well there's the barometer there. But I still have to watch Hamilton out of this whole situation. So um I've heard it's amazing, so I can't exactly hate on it right now. And Lin Manuel Miranda likes to rap, so I'm okay with that. But it's really really cute. There a bunch of the performances I really liked, especially the guy that plays Ogie in this one. I thought he kind of steals the show in a lot of ways. And yeah, it's just a cute one. I don't expect you to be at all interested in it, but as you shake your head. But yeah, it was fun, and I finally got around to watching it. I picked it up just for the express purpose that it was based on a movie I really liked. So soon to be digging into the same thing, because earlier this week, of people that follow my Instagram, I got my Mean Girls, both the 4K of the original and the musical remake with Renee Rapp, who's
The
oddly fascinating to me. I don't know why.
Wait, the new one is or is it a different one? Did
The
they make
new one's a
another one?
musical. The new one's a musical. The one that came out in January that's hitting 4K, Blu-ray and 4K in a couple of weeks. That's a musical, and
I
it's got
really liked the
Angourie
original Mean
Rice.
Girls.
Yeah, Angourie Rice and Renee Rapp are the leads. Yeah, but anyway, all right. Let's change gears. Let's change genres. Let's go to Shudder for it. You'll Never Find Me.
Patrick, a strange and lonely resident, lives in a mobile home at the back of an isolated trailer park. After a violent storm, a mysterious young woman appears at his door seeking shelter from the elements. Starring Brendan Rock and Jordan Cowan, written and directed by Josiah Allen and Indiana Bell.
And I mean, pun totally intended on this film, but this movie is just drenched in atmosphere, in that rainy, stormy night stuff. It's very limited location stuff. Basically, yeah, stranger girl shows up at guy's door at his trailer. He brings her in, and now you're trying to figure out which one of these characters is the sinister one, and it is a little unpredictable in that nature. They do use that small location stuff really, really, really well. You can tell that there's not a lot of money to this one whatsoever. And both Brendan Rock and Jordan Cowan are really, really solid in this film. I just feel like the film drags a little from time to time, and as great as the sum up of everything is by the end, um it less it deteriorated a bit, the build to that. So I enjoyed it, and again, just like what I was talking with Civil War, sound design to me is a big key thing in films, and especially when you don't have a lot to work with, and you kind of have to stay your hand visually. Sound is where you can really come through, and I think that's where this film, that's the MVP of this film, is its sound. So easy to check out on Shudder. Quick hour and a half, solid film. Let's move to a Pakistani film. This is Joyland.
The youngest son in a traditional Pakistani family takes a job as a backup dancer in a Bollywood style burlesque and quickly becomes infatuated with the strong willed trans woman who runs the show. Written and directed by Sam Siddiq.
And this is, I mean, a tragic story about guarded secrets and shame. in who you are that ends up leading to tragedy, to even deeper sorrow. And it's so well shot, and the character development is really, really, really good, and a vibrant LGBTQ film out of Pakistan, which seems like two things moving very much against each other when you get down to the Pakistani culture and everything. And because of that, there is a insanely beautiful final shot to this film, but it is so bittersweet without getting into any kind of spoiler territory. But this is the future debut for writer and director Siam Sadiq, which is mind blowing because he moves with such kind of veteran care in this film that I think he has a very bright future ahead of him, if he has more stories to tell. And the activist Malala, I can't really pronounce her last name. She was Yousefi. She was shot in the face and she survived, and then she worked to become an activist, and she got a bunch of doctorates and everything. She's an executive producer on this film. And the film was actually originally banned in Pakistan, and then a censor board review committee ultimately cleared it. However, a ban still remains on it in the province of Punjab, where the movie is actually set. And then, funny enough, this was Pakistan's submission to the Academy Awards in 2023, where it made it to the top 15, but it didn't get ultimately get the nomination. But beautifully done film, and finally getting its Blu-ray release now. So I think it's definitely worth checking out. All right, let's move on to another hidden Criterion release that I didn't know was coming out. This is Workmeister Harmonies.
A naive young man witnesses an escalation of violence in his small hometown following the arrival of a mysterious circus attraction. Written and directed by Bela Tarr and Agnes Hranitsky.
That's about as good as I can get too. Um, like Saint Omer, which I was talking about last week. This is another Criterion release that I didn't realize was a Criterion release. I just kind of saw it on the new release list, and I was like, I want to find out where to stream that one. And but this movie was originally released in 2000. Bela Tarr is a very acclaimed Hungarian filmmaker, and this film is one of those big celebrated ones, but it largely feels like a moving art exhibit, sometimes not moving that much. It's all done in like a stark black and white, and it's actually composed of 39 languidly paced tracking shots throughout it. And I feel that it is wildly metaphorical while still using like the real feeling locations and everything. There's parts of it that felt kind of like early Von Trier's to me. There's a lot of depth to this that I feel like I wasn't getting, just because I think some of the dullness of my modern film side kept kind of shouldering in like that boredom sort of way. And it just kind of felt like a relentlessly bleak film by the end. And it was like 2 hours and 26 minutes long.
Oh my
And
god.
I did a lot of long movies this week, because Joyland is 2 hours and 20 minutes as well. And yeah, just a lot of long movies this week. And but Bellatar is kind of interesting because he's still kind of putting his own spin on interesting cinema now, because we were just talking about A24, and Bellatar is actually one of the main producers on a film the A24 produced starring Numi Rupas called Lamb, which is just a fucked up little movie if you've ever seen it. So yeah, I'm like, kind of Bellatar is still making really weird stuff, and I kind of like saying his name is one because it sounds like some kind of like beast. Bellatar. Anyway, I digress. Workmeister Harmony is definitely for the art film community, but a different one than I'm a part of because I just really didn't get it. All right, so let's do some television this week. We're gonna go back to Wrexham for Welcome to Wrexham season 3.
Docuseries chronicling the purchase and stewardship of Wrexham AFC, one of professional football's oldest clubs, by two Hollywood actors, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Yes, Rob and Ryan, the two most charming guys in any sports docu series that I've ever seen. I love Ryan Reynolds. I feel like it's a common ground thing. And Rob McElhenney, I mean, I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I like the real dude himself. He's really funny, and their care for this team, and not only their care for this team, but the care for the town and their stories and everything is really important to how great this documentary is, because this documentary goes beyond being a simple sports documentary and gets into not into the lives of the players, into the lives of the people who their livelihood kind of depends on the team's presence, whether it be the local pub or people that work at the arena or at the field or around the field. And then, simply the townsfolk, the fans, the people that have been long serving and suffering fans in a long way for decades and decades, because this is a very, very old club, over 100 years. And it's tradition for them, so that's really charming. Season 2 is also really cool because they had introduced the women's Wrexham team, who kicked ass that year. So as Wrexham gets better and better as a club, the series gets better and better, and more of a feel good story as it progresses. So yeah, I highly recommend it, even if you're not into football, European football, British football, or whatever. It's still an interesting enough human story to get into, I think, but it's football. All right. Next is the series The Girls on the Bus.
Four female journalists who follow the every move of a parade of flawed presidential candidates, finding friendship, love, and a scandal that could take down not just the presidency, but our entire democracy along the way. Starring Melissa Benoist, Carla Gugino, Christina Elmore, and Natasha Benham. Created by Amy Chozick and Julie Plec, and it is available on Crave.
Like, and this show has got a great cast. Like, I love Carla Gugino a lot. Have for a long time. She's been a long serving great actress. Melissa Benoist. I like Supergirl. I thought she was pretty solid as Supergirl Kara in that series, and I just wanted, I think that more on her resume is definitely not a bad thing. And the other two, I honestly don't really recognize them. The pilot feels really formulaic and almost like a network show with swearing. Um, so I had it was just some of the writing I have to like kind of step over and like, okay, maybe it gets better, maybe it gets better. Like, it's enough to keep me on board for episode 2, but I don't know, it's just bad writing. But you can definitely see all the parables comparison wise with each of these ladies. You have your kind of Candace Owens type character, that the black woman that does reporting for like the Fox News networks, or Only America News, or one of those Newsmax or something like that, or even Candace Owens in the Daily Wire. And then you have your blogger type, your influencer that's bought into the political circuit and stuff, and is using TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff to further her along her way along as a political journalist. And then Milsa Benoist is like your traditional um more gonzo writers, and she even has a Hunter S. Thompson, like imaginary Hunter S. Thompson, that dips in and out of the series, which is a trope I'm not exactly sure if I'm cool with. I'm okay with an imaginary friend type thing. We've seen it many times in shows before, but to use Hunter S. Thompson, it's a little what the fucky. I'm just gonna say it. It's a little what the fucky, but I don't know. It's enough to keep me on board. The one of the creators, Julie Plec, she's a CW showrunner. She was one of the creators on a show called The Tomorrow People. But she's also heavily involved in anything Vampire Diaries. Julie Plec, I think, is one of the showrunners for Vampire Diaries. She was for the originals, and then there was another series that went 2 or 3 seasons after that. Legacies, I think it was called Legacies. So she's been involved with all of those shows. So this is definitely a departure. We're not doing genre television anymore. We're doing something more grounded. Um, just clean up the dialogue, and I think we're there. So that's on Crave, so people can check that one out there. You've got a couple things to talk about before I head into a bunch of Blu-ray jargon. So the first title is
Fallout.
all right. So in a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles brought about by nuclear decimation, citizens must live in the underground bunkers to protect themselves from radiation, mutants, and bandits. Starring Ella Purnell, Walton Goggins, Aaron Clifton Moughton, and Moises Arias. Created by Geneva Robertson Dworet and Graham Wagner, and it's available on Prime Video.
Yeah, and I also want to give a quick shout out to Johnny Pemberton, who's also in this. He was in both 21 and 22 Jump Street, but
He was in Superstore too, wasn't he?
I remember him as Bo from Superstore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
and
soon as he showed up, I was like, "Holy shit!"
yeah, yeah, I was super happy to see him in this. I love Johnny Pemberton. Yeah, I just think he's funny, and he is still funny in this.
Yeah, with his cheap kicks.
Yeah.
Like, that scene.
He's just like an irredeemable douche in the beginning, and then he kind of remains a douche for a little while longer, but it's a little more complicated than that, and I won't get into it. But I love this series. Like I thought that with Halo, we were like hitting the absolute zenith of like video game adaptation potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't think that it could get better than that, but Fallout is leagues above Halo in my opinion. Just
Mm-hmm.
the attention to detail. Like there's one scene where there's like a woman's corpse, and it's like, nuclear, it's like basically gone, but you can still see a pearl earring like embedded in her head. And I just think that was like just the tiny things like that get
Mm-hmm.
me, just like paying attention. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about this. The only thing is that I really hope that they pull together Aaron Clifton Moten's character writing, because oh my god, he is so annoying.
This is
All he does
Maximus,
is
right?
fuck up and bitch. Yes, it's
That's
Maximus.
Maximus, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, easy sell for me. Kyle MacLachlan plays Lucy's dad,
Yeah.
and
And
I
I
love
know
him.
him as Clint from the Flintstones.
That's amazing. We need to get Twin Peaks into your brain stat. Like I said it a handful of episodes before this. Twin Peaks and David Lynch are your friend. I think it's something you'll love. And especially you'll see a young Kyle MacLachlan, young and plucky Kyle MacLachlan as Agent Cooper, and you'll be like, where was this all my life? Like it's that exact atmospherical stuff. I think it's on Paramount. It has to be on Paramount Plus by now. I have the box set, so I don't even think about streaming it ever, but it's so worth it. But yeah, I love that he's in it. Moises Arias. I adore Moises a lot,
Yes.
and I
Since Hannah
always have.
Montana. Yep.
Well, for it's different for me. Kings of Summer is where I really, really, really first found out about him. But he did a movie, like a bunch of kids in a cave. It was a really, really, really good movie, and I'm spacing on the movie.
I might know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get you to blip it in now.
It's
So
whatever
it's
that
that
is.
movie. Remember that movie? That movie. That's the movie. It's
Yep.
really good though. Solid, solid, solid movie. I loved that movie. It's the one that I'm remembering the name right now. But yeah, damn solid. I do want to talk quickly. Usually when Amazon brings out a series, they do a 2 episode premiere at most, and then it's an episode a week. Not with Fallout. Not only did they drop all the episodes at once, they dropped them all a day early.
Yeah, they
So
did.
does this work for or against it, do you think? Like,
Um, that's hard to say. I mean, I think it might cause the chatter around it to die down quicker
mm-hmm,
because it's already all there.
mm-hmm,
Um, and like my YouTube feed has just been all Fallout, like all of it.
mm-hmm.
And I can't help but wonder how long that's going to last because the next season isn't set to come out until like late next year or something.
Yeah. Well, because they need time. I mean, you look at the production value on this series, and you don't want them to rush it. It's like same with like Last of Us season 2. I don't want them to rush it. I want
Yeah.
them to take care, to take serious care. But then you have an impatient or forgetful side of the audience that's like, well, I've already forgotten everything because you took so long to come out.
Okay, then rewatch it. That's what I
Yeah.
do. Like
Yeah.
literally every time a new season of Walking Dead would come out, I would just rewatch the entire series
Mhm.
in preparation for the new season.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, they could have had something with appointment television there. Every week, Wednesday night, Wednesday, new Fallout episode.
Yeah, they
They
could
could have
have.
had something.
I don't fully understand the motivation to not do so.
Do you think that maybe Prime, the powers that be, weren't exactly 100% sold that it would be a hit?
That's entirely
I
possible.
think it is. Genre
Because
genre shows are tough.
yeah, and like there wasn't even a lot of advertising around it.
No.
It was kind of just like, hey, it's coming out like, in like a week. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
um, and it did receive hate,
Hmm.
stupid,
Yeah.
unjustified hate,
Yeah. I
but
haven't seen a
hate
lot of it.
nonetheless.
I haven't seen a lot of it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly just been things centering around how Ella Purnell isn't hot enough or thick enough or
Ugh,
whatever the hell. Some
I know.
stupid
I
bullshit.
saw somebody fix her butt on a poster, and I was like,
Yeah,
"You got to touch grass, there, pal,
stop.
or touch a real butt. I don't know, one or the other."
Well, they
Uh,
can't. That's why they have to do that.
that's fair. That's fair. But at the end of the day, we're both saying, watch it. It's the show to
Yeah.
watch. You've got another series as well,
Yes, and it is another video game based series.
and it's called
It is.
Arc, the animated series. Follows Helena Walker as she wakes up on the Ark, an island inhabited by dinosaurs, starring Madeline Madden, Michelle Yeoh, and Zahn McClarnon, created by Jesse Rapsek and Jeremy Stieglitz. Available on Prime Video as well.
Hey guys, this is editor Chloe stepping in here because I forgot to mention the heaviest hitters of the ARC cast, and that would be Gerard Butler and Russell Crowe, two veteran actors who need no introduction, and David Tennant, who you all may most remember as the Doctor in Doctor Who. I don't know which season, I don't watch Doctor Who.
Yeah, and don't look up the ratings for this one. Um, they're really really bad, and actually reading the reviews, it's like, oh, I know why, and it's because Helena is a lesbian in the show,
Oh, it got bombed.
and
They bombed
and
it.
all the like badass characters. Well, no, not even all. Like half. Yeah, like 50% of the strong characters are female, but they aren't like the annoying female protagonist. Like they
Mm-hmm.
actually have depths of character. Like they have motivations for what they do, and they don't just exist to be fan service. Like Michelle Yeoh's character, she's a Chinese warrior from like the dynasty ages of China.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like she's a badass warrior, and people are just mad because her and Helena kiss once, like actually once. It occurs once, like at the end of the season, and people just lost their absolute minds about it. Mostly people who are like mega fans of the
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have other mega fans that are like, this is extremely true to the game lore. Like, it's literally just people not liking. It's just homophobia, and I hate
Yeah.
it when people say that when somebody says that a movie is bad or a show is bad, like She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like that.
Or they say it's woke. That's the because people
Uh,
don't know what the term woke actually
no,
means.
no,
It's in a
just people existing, just non-straight people existing is woke apparently.
right,
So,
right. Well, this
and
show is anti woke. I will say this right
yes,
now. What the hell should I watch? We're all inclusive, and we always will be.
yeah, for sure.
Jesus Christ. I don't to even have to say that. Like if you're watching this and you have anything against any community, then you might as well find something else to watch.
There's the door.
Yeah, exactly. But Arc, worth watching.
Yes, for sure. And I also just want to point out that Zahn McClarnon
Yes.
is in this,
I love
and
him. He's
yeah,
so
he was
great.
in he was the crow in oh god, I'm blanking on it. Why am I blanking on it? Doctor Sleep.
Oh yes, Doctor Sleep. And
Yeah.
he's in a great series on AMC Sundance called Dark Winds. He's the main
Hmm.
character on that one, and he's the local cop on the series Reservation Dogs, which is like one of my favorite shows. I love that show so damn much.
And
So
I also just want to say that Arc the Animated Series did make me cry on both the first and last episodes.
bookended.
Like that's a win.
Yeah, I would
Like
say so.
you pulled me in enough to cry on the first episode and then again on the last one.
Yeah,
Like and
that's
like I
solid.
was fighting it too. Like I was like no, no. But wow, like
I,
it's a good show and I definitely think you should watch it.
I will. I will. Speaking of crying at cartoons, apparently, um, X-Men '97, the latest episode 5, is apparently freaking devastating. So good to
Oh.
know.
I've been watching Invincible.
You have, and
Love it. Love it, love
right,
it, love it. Love everything about it.
it's so good. It's
Stephen
just so.
Yun and J.J. Abrams. Okay, watching it.
J.K. Simmons.
Yep, sorry. Who the hell is J.J. Abrams is not. Nope, he's a director.
Yeah.
Um, J.K. Simmons, yes. I
Yes.
used to think his name was actually J. Jonah Jameson. So, um,
Well, we learn.
but yes, but yeah, he's Omni Man, and I couldn't help but think like this is probably what J.K. Simmons wanted most of all was to be a
Be a
superhero because
superhero.
he's been J. Jonah Jameson forever.
And then he
So he's like,
was
it's my turn now.
and then he was Commissioner Gordon for Zack Schneider. And he got
Right.
jacked for that role for like nothing. No reason. He was just jacked. I don't know why. It's because
He had
everybody
to
in a
be.
Zack Schneider movie is jacked for no discernible reason why, but they're just jacked.
It's a prerequisite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. To be in a Zack Schneider movie, you have to be jacked.
Yep.
Prerequisite. All right, let's speed through some Blu-ray releases and TV releases. First up, Last Kingdom: Seven Kings Must Die. This is the movie finale to the Netflix series, The Last Kingdom. I have not watched this series at all, but my mom, your Nana, is a huge fan of Last Kingdom. She really likes that show. So apparently the movie is pretty good too. It has a making of the movie featurette on it, and I will give the full review once I get to that. I need to get through the Last Kingdom series, but I'm really happy to have this one. I also got the Heroes Complete Collection. It's all 4 seasons of Heroes plus Heroes Reborn, which was the too late series that they made with like losing most of the original cast. Like Milo Ventimiglia was in it, Zachary Quinto was in it. I don't think Hayden Panettiere was in it. Instead, you have Zachary Levi and a bunch of other people. It just didn't really work out, but the special features are solid. It's got the never before aired 72-minute premiere episode from season 1, an alternate ending for season 2, audio commentaries with the cast, crew, and creator Tim Kring, deleted sings deleted sings. I'm still stuck on the musical thing that I had to watch. Deleted scenes, an art gallery, and a featurette on artist Tim Sale, who does all the artwork of one of the characters in the first 2 seasons. So Tim Sale, I mean, he did The Long Halloween. He did a shitload of great Batman. And lots more special features on that. It's a really cool box set, actually. I'm really happy to own it because I love that first season of Heroes. I think it was such a damn good show. And do you know what killed the show's momentum? A writer's strike.
Oh.
Yeah. So having gone through it last year, I think we understand this now better than ever, because I think that was one of the first major writer strikes that actually affected shows that I was watching. So when this one came along, I was like, oh no. Oh no. And then the actors one coincided with it, and I was like, oh no, this is even worse. So I mean, and now we're kind of paying for it when you're seeing the releases coming out. Everything's so weirdly staggered now because they're trying to make up for the gaps in stuff that should have already been filmed and already completed by now. So that's why everything kind
Yeah.
of feels weird. This next one I'm going to let you take a little bit here. Fear the Walking Dead season 8. They sent me the Blu-ray. I am not caught up at all. It would be embarrassing if I told you where I am in the whole Walking Dead universe, if we're being really honest. But I will say that I love Coleman Domingo, who plays Victor Strand. And I've always been a huge fan of Kim Dickens, who plays Madison in this. And of course, Morgan rules because it's Lenny James. But I got to give it to the Walking Dead aficionado. What is the review on season 8?
It's not good.
It's not good. And this is
No.
your least favorite Dead series?
Oh, least favorite? No.
Okay.
Least favorite would be World Beyond. It's something that nobody asked for and nobody wanted. Um, fear, fear. It's very like cyclical. Like they move to a place, the place is good, the place is awesome. They do some stupid stuff to mess it up. The place burns to the ground, and then they move on and do it to the next place. And it's kind of just that over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And nobody learns any lessons. Everybody kind of just digs their heels into the character that they already are and just become. I think the new term is flanderized, where they just become that one trait,
Mm-hmm.
and that is very 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 much what happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty. It's pretty concise, and it doesn't say it's the final season. So I'm guessing that 9 is going to be the final season because they said that this is coming to an end. Because I watched a documentary series that Coleman Domingo hosts, and they were in the middle of filming the final season. So it's like, I think we're done, right? We're done soon, right? I don't know.
I want it. I want that to be done.
There we go. But it's got audio commentaries on it, so that's fun. All right. So also Lower Decks season 4 is both available on DVD and Blu-ray. I personally just started watching the series, like literally just. I just watched episode 1 the other day. I'm super behind. I fell in love with it pretty quickly because I love Jack Quaid's voice, in it, and Tawny Newsome, the other lead in it, is also really great. Eugene Cordero's in this too, and he's always hilarious. It's from the producers of Rick and Morty, so it has that same Rick and Morty look to it. I don't know. Have you watched any of Lower Decks?
Mm, not really.
Yeah. So
No, I actually don't think I even know what you're referring to.
it's a Star Trek animated series. It's an adult animated series for Star
Oh,
Trek,
okay.
and it's on Paramount Plus and Crave, I believe. But yeah, so far so good. I'm enjoying it. So I will be getting to season 4. Once I do, I'll give the full review of that one as well. All these other ones I will also have full reviews on in the future. This first one I've already seen before, but I'll give it a new look because it's now available on Blu-ray. It's Faster, starring The Rock, Billy Bob Thornton, a pre-haunting on Hill House, Oliver Jackson Cohen. Did you ever watch The Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah.
He's the Oliver Jackson Cohen is the heroin addict brother,
Okay.
and then he was also in the haunting of the haunting of Bly Manor.
Okay.
He was like the creepy dude in that one. He was like, did you watch the follow up series?
um, I can't remember.
Okay, yeah, Mike Flanagan releases a lot there because there is Haunting of Hill House, the Haunting of Bly Manor,
Yeah,
uh,
there's a lot of hauntings.
Midnight Mass, the Midnight
Okay,
Club.
I saw Midnight Mass. That
Midnight Mass
one,
is
that
amazing.
yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was so good. Um, he's also really good at making scares. Like, he does jump scares like nobody else. They're actually effective and they're actually warranted. Like, it's not
Hmm.
just bullshit. Jump scares to me
Yeah.
are largely bullshit. Flanagan does them well. I'm so deterring off of what I'm talking about though. Uh, Carla Gugino is also in Haunted of Hill House as well, and she's in this one. She's been in Moves to the Rock before because she was also in San Andreas, the earthquake movie. Um,
Oh, I like that one. Yeah,
yeah, it's got
I
some
liked it.
really
I
weird
liked it
stuff.
as a child.
Yeah, it's got some weird choices in it. It's
Yeah.
just some weird ass choices. This movie, Faster, was directed by George Tillman Jr. Though it was his follow up to Notorious, which is the Notorious B.I.G. movie, which I really liked. But there's no features on this one, so when I bring it back to review, it will be reviewing the movie after I haven't seen it in probably 15 years. So it'll be a refresher. The other one is Flunk Season 1. It is available on Blu ray. It is an Australian teen high school comedy. Again, no features. I don't really know a lot about this series, but I know it's critically acclaimed. So I'm kind of looking forward to checking it out because I generally like Aussie stuff all the time. It's just, I like their cinema, I like their television. It just generally lines up with me. I don't know why. I really don't know why because I have no like real desire to go to Australia because everything might kill me. So
Yeah.
it kind of scares me. Also, Good Burger 2, I got a Blu ray of it. I only recently experienced Good Burger and then I brought it to this show, which is, I mean, it just was exactly everything, a late 90s chaos movie, everything that I needed at the time to watch. Because Keenan and Kel are comedy gold. And this movie has Home of the Good bloopers, which is the extended version of their gag reel. I'm a sucker for a gag reel. I love bloopers. I'm dumb that way. They always make me giggle. You also have behind the scenes with Keenan and Kel, meet the employees, and then a Q&A with the new crew, and lots more. So I'll bring the review of the movie to the show once I get to it. Also, The Losing Defense, a chess drama, stars John Turturro and Emily Watson. The Blu-ray has commentary by Marlene Goris, who also directed Antonia's Line, which is an incredible film from the mid '90s. Uh, it's kind of a middling film, but I really like John Turturro and Emily Watson, so I'll give my full thoughts on that. Also, Peasants is out this week on Blu-ray. I already reviewed this movie on the February 24th episode, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's a Polish film where they shot it digitally and painstakingly painted with oil painting over top of the picture to make an animated film. Quite incredible to look at. And that is it for this week. Next week, I'm going to be talking about Radio Silence's new film, Abigail. Oh boy, this movie's going to be fun. I
Yeah.
just a brilliant cast. Again, it's almost it kind of looks like they shot it almost in the Ready or Not mansion. It kind of has the
Yeah.
same aesthetic to it. I don't you saw it Ready or Not, right?
Yeah, of course.
I love that movie so much. I think it's better than their two Scream installations. I like the Scream I like Scream 5 and 6. I just think that when they're doing their own ideas, they're just so much stronger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
really, really excited to check this one out. I'm also going to be talking about The Sympathizer, which I'm watching right now with Robert Downey Jr. It's on Crave. I'm watching episode 1. I was hoping to bring it this week, but I just didn't get enough time. So yeah, lots to talk about next week. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd at the Steeple Dead.
You can find me on Letterboxd at HoneyBunChloe.
And if you ever want to ask us any questions, especially Chloe, who's not on social medias, just put them down in the comment section down there, right there, right there. And you can find these episodes on stevestebbing.ca. Of course, you were on the YouTube page for Steve Stebbing. So if you haven't already, please give a like and subscribe to the video you're on. And you can also find me on shiftheads.ca with my buddy Shane Hewitt, as well as the Facebook group is also Shift Heads. And there are over 4,000 members in there. And yeah, that kind of depletes our list for this week. So we got to go fill it up. So till next time, bye bye.